up everyone, my name is Gods, and I will be reviewing the Rising Dawn patch notes today. So, the changes will affect Smite on August 4th, and let's get right into it. So first off, we will be having a brand new god, and his name is Khepri. You can see him right there, and that's his card in-game. So, he's like the god of, I'm not sure what he is, but he's kind of like a scarab beetle, and according to like Drybear and whatnot, he's like the biggest god that they've released, and he's actually like wider than most gods, obviously, and he clips easily on things apparently. So let's get into his passive here. It's called Fortitude. So every 5 seconds, Khepri applies a shield to himself and nearby allied gods for 3% of target's maximum health for 15 seconds. The rate is slowed to every 10 seconds while in combat. So if you take a look at this here, it says max 15%. So you can have, an ally can have max of 15% of their maximum health as a shield. So what this means is at the beginning of the game, you'll basically have 115 health starting off like right away, because every 5 seconds. So 3 times 5 is 15 seconds. So in 15 seconds, you'll have the 15%. I think that's a little bit strong. And it doesn't go like, I don't think this is very, it's good, obviously. It's very good for Khepri. It's very strong, and that's why I think it needs to be nerfed, honestly. Like right off the gate, shouldn't even be going past PTS, because 15% of someone's health in the end game is huge. Okay? I don't think that they should let that slip. If anything, I think they should reduce the amount of time it takes to apply the passive. So instead of every 5 seconds, it should be 10 seconds. 10 seconds, even 15 seconds, even better. Because 15%, no. That is way too much. Even 103%, that's kind of strong, because if we're talking about percentages, then if you have like 3% of 3,000, then you have 30 health. Like, that's kind of huge, especially in the late game. Okay, next is abduct. So Khepri lunges forward, dealing 80 up to 320 damage, and that's plus 40% of his magical power damage to enemies he passes through. So he will pass right through minions. If he connects with an enemy god, he stops, grabs them, and starts pulling them backwards. Enemies are crippled for the duration of the pull, and the cost is 60, cooldown is 15 seconds. So basically what this is an Athena taunt, pretty much, except he physically grabs them and pulls them backwards, and during the duration of the pull, enemies are crippled, and it's not in the tooltip, but he actually silences them while he does it. So, I mean, right off the bat, I'm going to tell you that they need to remove the silence, and they need to increase the cost. If you have an ability that only costs 60 through the whole game, you can use it as many times as you want in the late game, and it's not even going to affect him, because this can also be a getaway. It's a dash, so you could use it as a getaway, and when your getaways or escapes only cost one thing throughout the whole game, then it's kind of strong. Like, I think the main thing with this god is that the costs are a little too cheap for what they do, honestly. Because let's take a look at what Athena's taunt actually does. So the cooldown is 18 seconds, and the cost goes from 60 to 80. When we look at Khepri, his abduct is 60 with a cooldown of 15 seconds. So obviously Athena's taunt could take potentially the whole team, and this could only take one person, but this does damage. This does damage, and it cripples and it silences them. So I mean, it's kind of hard to judge what they should do to fix this, but as it is right now, I don't think abduct should like as it is right now, I don't think it should make it into actual like the actual game right now. I think they should tone down a little bit on removing the silence and increasing the cost mana wise. Next is Rising Dawn. So Khepri rolls the sun forward, setting ablaze all enemies it touches, reducing physical protections by 5 to 25%, and dealing 12 to 24 tick damage every zero point 0.3 seconds for 3 seconds. Allies that are hit take 30 to 50% reduced damage from enemies for the duration. Okay, so this one, if we take every 0.3 seconds for 3 seconds, so that's 10 ticks of 24, so then 240 damage at max rank, and that sounds pretty good, right? But you're reducing physical protections on enemy gods by 25% every 10 seconds, and you could apply that to every single god on the enemy team. At the same time, you could apply this buff to every single person on your team for like 4 people, and 4 people on your team will take 50% reduced damage from enemies for the duration. Now they don't say how long the duration is. If the duration is 3 seconds, then that's huge. That's huge, because if you have 50% reduced damage for the duration of a team fight, that is massive. And then like, so 3 seconds, but then the cooldown is 10 seconds. That is, wow, like the cooldown is way too low to be offering your whole team 50% reduced damage and at the same time debuffing the enemy team for up to 25% protections. That's just way too strong. So I suggest that they either reduce or remove the protections debuff, because that's a little too strong. If anything, I would give them like minus 15% at max rank or something like that, like 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. As well, I will reduce the buff at max rank. If this is just his 2 with a cooldown of 10 seconds and 40 mana cost, I don't think that you should be giving a character 30, like the ability to reduce allies taking damage up to 30%, or sorry, 50% at max rank. I just think that's ridiculous and that's broken. Okay, so I would reduce this down to like up to 5s, like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, because this is just a little broken. I'm sorry. As well, the cost in CD needs to go up if they plan on keeping all of this. I would keep the CD at like 20 seconds, and then like, I don't know, maybe like 80, like double these basically, because if you build full cooldown on him, that's 40%. You would be able to give 50% reduced damage to your allies in 6 seconds. That's huge. It's basically like, again, if it's taking off of this, the 3 seconds, then you're giving your people 3 seconds of immunity or whatever, like 50% reduced damage, and then there's a 3-second wait period, and then do it again, and then just keep on spamming it, since you have only like 40 mana, and it's like an infinite mana pool basically. Crazy. So next is Solar Flare. Khepri calls down the sun's ire at the target's location, dealing 40 up to 200 damage, and rooting all targets in the area for 1.3 to 1.7 seconds. And the cost is 60 to 80, cooldown is 15 seconds. I have no problems with this. This is probably the most balanced thing in his kit right now, and I don't have any problems with that. last but not least, it's his ultimate, and this ultimate is extremely powerful and one of a kind actually. So Khepri blesses an allied god, immediately cleansing them of all crowd control as well as granting them 5 up to 25 power, 20 up to 40% movement speed, and immunity to slow effects. If the marked ally would die while blessed, they are instead revived to with a 40 to 60% of their maximum health at Khepri's location, and the cost is 80 up to 100, cooldown 90. So, right off the, immediately, you need to reduce the movement speed. This is basically greater sprint, you know? It removes slow effects, it gives you 40% movement speed, and as well as that, you also get up to 25 physical power, or physical or magical power, I'm pretty sure. So, it's huge. It's a huge buff, and it's a little strong. They could do with a little nerfing, of course. And, you know, the CD is 90. So, if you're gonna be able to revive someone at 60% of their maximum health with a cooldown of 90 seconds, I think that's a little broken. It needs to be like Apollo's ult, like 110 seconds, 120 seconds, something like that, and then slowly make its way down, like down to 90. Because especially in the early game, where it's like 40%, if you're level 5 and you manage to revive a hunter that was boxing another hunter that's only at like 5% left, and you revive them with 40% of their maximum health, that is huge. They could go right back in and they could finish what they started. And it's like, well, that's just insta-ban basically, because who's gonna want to deal with that? I know I don't. I mean, the cost isn't that heavy. You know? Like, the cooldown isn't that heavy. And then it's like up to 60% of maximum health. If I was a support player, I'd love this god. Jeez. It's just absolutely disgusting. So yes, I'd like to reduce the movement speed because it's like a greater sprint. I'd like to reduce the amount of health at revival, and finally, I'd like to increase the cooldown. Those are just my 2 cents on the new god Khepri. He sounds like a really fun god. I'm sure you could play him in the jungle. He has tons and tons of CC, especially with that abduct. He can get around the place pretty fast with that 60 mana cooldown, or 60 mana cost, and then of course the revival. So next we will be talking about skins, so let's just go ahead here. This is the Anubis tier 2. It's called Afterlife. This is a new skin for a Wheelish called Renegade. New skin for Kabrakan called Gamma Slam. Freya skin called All for One, based on French, and the Khepri recolor, that's Imperator. Medusa Mastery, and this is like her gold skins, you know? So they will be coming in like gold, legendary, and diamond. I believe the legendary, it looks exactly like what you see on screen, except the blue is replaced with black. But for the diamond skin is actually kind of nice. Her tail, like her actual body color, is diamond, like blue, but it's not like the diamond that, you know, like everyone's like fully crusted in diamond. It's like her scales are actually just blue, like the color of it, and then like the rest is kind of accented. Looks nice. You could probably find that on the PTS or whatever. It'll come out soon anyways though. So yeah, that'll do it for the new skins, but they will also be updating Vamana's little mana card. So yeah, there we go. New voice packs for them, new emotes. Yes, and Arena will be adding grass that deteriorates over time. It's like the patches where you see brown pretty much is where they'll be adding grass, and over time that grass will be like disappearing. I'm not sure if this is a very smart idea though, because why would you put grass in an arena when it's usually sand in an arena? And I've never seen grass in an arena. I'm sorry. Those are some misc stuff. That's like fixed stuff. Yeah. Now let's talk about items. So we want players to feel rewarded for making smart item choices and make sure they have a wide pool to choose from. We look at some of the underperforming items and tweak them to make them more attractive for players to utilize. So basically, they want people to use the undervalued items basically for the situation. They don't want you to have just one build to like be the number one build that you always go to. They want you to have different builds for different situations. So that's why they've changed these a little bit. So Breastplate of Valor. Breastplate has reduced mana from 550 mana to 300, reducing the cost from 2300 to 1950. So basically they removed 350 gold cost, but at the same time they removed 250 mana. And the reasoning behind this, they said, was that they were giving you mana, but they were giving you too much mana, that it's like the price went too high for the amount of mana that you were getting. So the rest of it is kind of the same. You have the CD still, you still have the physical protections, right? But it's like if you want it for the CD, then it's like, why don't I just get Wingblade? You get 300 health from Wingblade. You get like movement speed. Like here, let's just go into Smite right now and see this. So for Wingblade, you get 300 health, 10% cooldown reduction, 10% attack speed, and 10% movement speed. Like, that's huge, right? And it's only 1800. And if we look at Breastplate, it's just 75 physical protections, 25% cooldown reduction, and 550 mana. Like, there's no passive or anything. No passive. And this one has a passive. It's when hit by a slow, you are immune to slows, and your movement speed is increased by 20% for 4 seconds. And that's huge because you have people like Upwash who have like insane slows that are OP, and they refuse to fix it. And there's also Freya and stuff like that. So it's like, would you rather have health or would you rather have mana now? Because you have 300 health from Wingblade, or you pay 100 extra gold and then you get your Breastplate of Valor instead of having it be 2300. You know, right off the bat, I'm just gonna say you'll probably want Wingblade. You know, so it's little things like that. So next is Silver Breastplate. That's just the base cost to make it easier to buy it when you're at base, and then the mana, obviously, because this is what you would originally get, you know, right here. So next is Shield of Regrowth. This item has not seen like any play at all. It increases movement speed bonus from 25 to 35, increase passive duration from 2 seconds to 4 seconds. So let's check this out. Right now, it is, okay, definitely not in popular items. I'm trying to think of where it is. It's probably not on her. Let's see. Yes, there it is. Okay. So, passive is after healing yourself from an ability, you gain 25% movement speed for 2 seconds. This cannot occur more than once every 10 seconds. So, it's a pretty good price, to be honest. 1800 compared to Shifter Shield here is 2700. I think what this is like, what this did for Shield of Regrowth is all it did was increase the movement speed bonus from 25% to 35%, increase the passive duration from 2 seconds to 4 seconds. I think this would be really good on a Boloney jungle, to be exact, because her passive already is movement speed, right? So it's like, let's see, abilities, yes. So upon giving or receiving hits from basic attacks, Boloney gains protections and movement speed for 4 seconds, so maximum of 5 stacks. 3% per stack, 3 times 5 is 15, so 15% movement speed. 15% movement speed, so then when you use your Scourge, this is the whip right here, then you'll heal yourself, right? And you can have 35% movement speed for 4 seconds, as well as like the physical protections and whatnot, and cooldown, I'm pretty sure. I think it is anyways. So you can have all of that, 15% plus 35%, you'll have plus 50% movement speed. You'll be so fast, man. As a jungler, that's like invaluable. You know, it's all about speed in the jungle. That's why you have the speed buff. Okay, so let's get back to the items now. Next is Soul Eater. So it increased attack speed from 10 to 15%, increased base physical lifesteal from 15 to 20%, and passive aura now provides 15 physical power and 10 physical protection to allies, and removed physical lifesteal aura from passive. So this is basically just to say, I don't think it's for hunters still. Like, it gives you more attack speed now, and it gives you more lifesteal now. As well, it gives you physical power and physical protection, but only to allies. So I feel like this is a solo item more than a hunter item, because the solo will be at the front probably. Like if it's a tier and you're picking this up, well, obviously you're not going to pick it up on a tier, but just for an example, if you pick it up, you're giving people in the front line 15 physical power and 10 physical protections in a team fight. So I don't know, I still don't find this item that attractive. I think there are better items, especially for lifesteal. So next is Celestial Legion Helm. That's the one that I believe this is the one that reduces the crit. So it's like increased magical power from 40 to 60. Not bad. But that's about it. Next is Runic Shield. So new passive, Aura. All enemies within range 55 have their magical power reduced by 50 and attack speed reduced by 20%. So this is like a defensive Witchblade apparently. So if you take a look at it right now, Runic Shield. All enemies within range 55 have their magical power reduced by 50. That's it. That's all you're getting it for, right? Now they added attack speed reduced by 20%. This is a direct hit on Freya, a direct hit on Alquang, and any magical god that relies on attack speed. So I mean, if you had, I don't know, like a troll pick, like a Zeus ADC or something like that, just pick up Runic Shield, because for one thing, it reduces their magical power by 50. That's massive. That could almost be almost like a whole item, pretty much. And then all enemies have their attack speed reduced by 20. Again, that's huge. So yeah, Runic Shield. That's probably gonna be coming out recently. I don't like the if anyone's ever played with this item, I really don't like the sound effects. Kind of gives me like, gives me bumps, goosebumps. Next is Ancile. 20 physical power, 40 magical protection, and 15% cooldown reduction. So originally, I believe you used to get cooldown reduction actually from the stacks, and that was just ridiculous because what the hell? Why are you gonna get cooldown from stacks? That's just stupid, okay? You know, now it's like you get 4 health per stack and receive 5 stacks per god kill. Okay, just the stacks, just the health, okay? So 4 times 60 is like 60, 120, 240. That's pretty great. Yeah. Yeah, that's really good. I like that. This is probably going to be a pretty good a good solo item. If you're looking at the item changes in a whole, it's actually really aimed at warriors. If you look, they're kind of trying to put down the magical power and give you more magical protections in this patch because, well, mages are really OP. They're fucking OP. You look at Al Kwang and he's fucking OP. Okay? And you don't have, there's barely any magical items, like magical protection items that are actually viable. There's Stone of Gaia, but why would you want to get Stone of Gaia? What would make you want to get Stone of Gaia other than the magical protection? It's hard to say, hey, that's a good pickup on a Stone of Gaia, and that's exactly why no one buys it, you know? So next is Runic Shield, reduce magical protection from 40 to 35. Enchanted Buckler, reduce the base cost from 820 to 750 and increase the cost of Runic Shield by 70 to make up the difference. Okay, I have no problem with that. Silver Talisman, reduced health from 200 to 125. And that's mainly to put a shot on guardians who like picking up Silver Talisman and then they don't finish it until like whenever, because I know there's tons of them, like Jeff Hindla really loves Silver Talisman because of the fact that it gives you such cost efficient health. Like, let's take a look right now. Let's Silva on it. Okay, we'll Sobek. Silver Talisman. So 1200 gold. 1200 gold only. You're getting 45 magical protection, 200 health. So if we're looking back at that last item that I was talking about, Ancile gives you 40 magical protection, and this gives you 1200, like this gives you 45 magical protection, and it's only 1200 gold. Now that's insane for one thing. And then it also gives you the 200 health. So if you're looking at a what's it called now? A wing blade. If you're looking at a wing blade, it's 1850 for 300 health, but this is 1200 for 200 health. I mean, the fact that they've overlooked this like crazy is, you know, kind of something for high res, because that's insane. Like, this is basically half the amount of Bulwark of Hope, and Bulwark only gives you 250 more health and then like 15 more magic protection, as well as a passive, of course. But the passive is really useless, pretty much, you know? So this is a really cost efficient item, but now it's kind of getting nerfed. So if you didn't know about that before, then, well, that sucks for you. So Silver Talisman getting reduced health, but the magical protection is still there and the cost is still there, so, you know. And finally, Heartseeker / Doom Orb. These items are now available in Assault. Who cares? Telekine's Ring no longer provides magical protections and now provides 100 health. I don't really care for telekines, to be honest. Like, I know a lot of people like the double rings on Al Kwang, but I don't play like that. That's not really my playstyle. So, yeah, whatever. Finally, we have the gods and their balance, updates, fixes, whatever. So, let's talk about Upwash. Finally, they nerfed this kid. Holy crap. I've actually persistently been so annoyed at this god that when he was first released, I refused to play the game like for 2 days because I was so angry that they added this god. I just logged in for my daily bonuses. Okay. So we removed the slow on his ultimate entirely. Thank the Lord in heaven. His ultimate was too potent and offered little counterplay, especially when paired with the slow on his Undead Surge. Sadly, they didn't take out the slow out of Undead Surge. We liked this burst playstyle and zone control, but we felt the ultimate granted him too much safety, and removing the slow takes away some of this safety. Fleeting Breath. Fixed this skill dealing unintended damage. The bonus damage was counting an extra heal stack. I'm not quite sure like what that is, but basically what they did was they removed the slow from Empty the Crypts. That's it. Unbelievable. At least it's something though. And these are just a bunch of fixes, and then Boloney. Boloney's kit has many strengths, and in this patch we wanted to hit key points where we felt this strength was way too much. This slow granted from Shield Bash was too potent for a single point investment, and late game Eagle's Rally was coming up too often. This should allow for more counterplay at both early and late game stages. Exactly, like okay, what they see is Shield Bash does too much early, but I say Shield Bash does too much late, because I can deal with the slow at level 5. I can deal with the slow at level 4, I can deal with the slow at level 10. I can deal with the slow at level 20 when she has Frostbound Hammer and she's doing 35% slow, as well as whatever slows on Frostbound Hammer when she has all the protections and she has 450 health from it. They need to nerf her slow, they needed to nerf Frostbound Hammer, and yeah, Eagle's Rally increased cooldown from 75 to 75 seconds at all ranks. Not bad. I would have liked to see the stun pretty much completely removed. That or just reduced to, I don't know, because you do damage, whatever, but I don't care about the damage. It's the stun that really is the thing that makes Eagle's Rally. If you stun someone and then immediately shield bash them, then they're stunned and then they're slowed and then they're dead. Boloney is really strong, and I don't like that they fucking gave her 5 extra percent slow on her shield bash. They didn't nerf her, they buffed her. You didn't reduce the slow, you increased it. It should have been 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You didn't do anything. You just stopped the slow early game. But I can take it early game. I can't take it when she has fucking Frostbound Hammer. It's just simple as that. Next is Ravana. They used the wrong skin, I'm pretty sure. So basically what they did was, hey, Ravana's not doing enough damage. We need to give him more damage and less cooldowns. And that's exactly what they've done. Cooldown for overhead kick, which is the immunity frame one, that is reduced by 2 seconds on every single cooldown tier. Increased damage from 55 to 70, from 195 to 210. Not bad. 10 hinge Shadow Fist, increased health return from 10 up to 60 to 15 to 65 health. Just base. And increased damage from 115 to 215 to 120 to 260. Wow, that's pretty strong, huh? Jesus. That is crazy. But yeah, that's basically what they've done. They've given him more damage, and they've given him more health return, and they've given him cooler, reduced cooldowns. That's basically it. So Radat is meant to be a mobile menace. Yes. Unfortunately, his mobility made him too safe and frustrating to handle. Frustrating. I don't know about too safe. You know, Radat can die pretty easily. But Radat can now only dash dart 3 times maximum, and his ultimate will take longer to get Radat to safety. He should have some risk of engaging into the enemy team, and these changes should allow enemies the chance to capitalize on greedy plays. And that's basically what we're talking about here, is Radat. His playstyle is greedy. You know, you just dart in there, you do your shit, you dart out. And that's what's been happening, is you can reset dart 6 times. 6 times in the current build of the game. You know? You cut that right down to 3. This idea came directly from Incon, I'm pretty sure. And as well, they decreased the distance that he could travel from 40 to 35. Not that much of a difference, but still, like 5 units could make the difference, you know? Through the Cosmos, increased setup time from 1 second to 1.5 second. Again, it could make the difference. You never know. But that will be it for the patch today. Tell me what you guys think about the patch, you know. Leave a comment below. If you enjoy it, please leave a like, favorite, and subscribe.